Our bow ringers are kind of similar to what they're doing in Algebra 2 with Trig for a while, mostly because, at least until December, we might revamp our lives in December because you're seniors. So my thought is, with the math workshops and the ACT prep, we're going to push hard till December because that's the last ACT test date for you, really. Because by December, it's like do or die, you pick where you're going. And then January and May will do more like long-term stuff you actually need in the real world from then on with math workshop. But until then, for those of us trying to get that 23 to a 24 or whatever it is your score is, you just got to get it up a point. We are 15 to the 16. You know, we're going to work on trying to get it up at least a point or two, or at least some strategies on how to be a better guesser. Because clearly he's joking the 15. He's not. But but clearly if you are the 15, we need to work on your guessing strategies because we need to improve that. And we're going to work on that after we go over these. Does anyone have an answer? I'm going to be nice today and ask for volunteers and not just pick on people. Does anyone have an answer for number 1 they'd like to share? Yes, Darren?
I got 14S plus 9T.
Okay, he added 6 and 8 and got 14S. He added 5 and 4 and got 9T. I liked his answer 14S plus 9T because going straight up elementary school on you is an ABC order. I like the S and then the T. Yes, ma'am. Oh, perfect. Hold on one sec. Let me finish my rant. If you are like me and your brain is still on vacation, then when the second I see 2 parentheses, I would want to FOIL. How do we know when we see this problem not to FOIL? Yes, so the symbol in the middle, either the plus or the minus or whatever in between, makes you know not to FOIL. But the fact that you remembered to FOIL, look at you, you knew some math. That's good. I would have thought the same thing. And then when I did this problem earlier, someone then wrote their answer was 23ST. And trust me, that would be one of the answer choices if this was a multiple choice question. What's wrong with that? You can't combine. Okay, so I would be looking for a vocab term like that, and table 1 and 2 probably would have gotten a point next. The light term thing. Bless her heart, her brain is like mine. It's still on summer vacation. Eventually, she will get it. Okay, then we get to number 2, and it tends to be a more tricky one. Why is 2 a little more difficult?
Negative.
You got that minus sign instead of that plus sign. Does anyone want to share? You wanted to share your answer. Go ahead.
9M minus 13M.
Someone's had their Wheaties this morning. If I had guessed, because I did not have my Wheaties, I would have gotten the 9N. I'm with you. 11 minus 2 is 9. I'm there. But I would have put minus 1N, or just minus N. If that's you, if that's what you put, here's what happened. Remember that negative? It goes with both the 2 and the 6. So it's really negative 7N minus 6N. That's how I got negative 13N. If that was you and you're like me, here's my suggestion in green. I suggest you distribute that negative sign. On your paper, I would write 11M minus 7N minus 2M minus 6N. I did the negative times 2M, the negative times 6N. And then if I combine my like terms, 11, negative 2, hey, I see where that 9M came from. That makes sense now. Negative 7, negative 6, now I understand why it's negative 13. So if you're like me and you wanted to put 9M minus N, you probably ought to distribute that negative 1. It would not hurt. And then you'd end up with the right answer. Now, just because you're going to humor me, and this is the 3rd day, so got to make sure we know why we're doing this. Will there eventually be a test on these? Okay, is it going to be one of those lovely, easy tests where it says on 811, Kaylee, what was number 2? Now, I'm sure I'm probably going to be a sucker and make something like that. That way I know since Kaylee was alive, she can get some points for being Kaylee. However, it's going to be similar problems to this. Did Kaylee actually understand the topics? If not, she's going to have a big fat bad grade in the 60% category. She does not want that to happen. It's going to hurt. Okay, volunteers for number 3. Table 2's been added. Yes, table 6.
It would be 2e minus e squared.
2e minus e squared. Okay. If I was being really, really picky, what should I change about this? I get I'm being so picky. Yes, dear?
Negative e squared plus 2e.
Now, I get that between the pink and the green, all I did was change the order. I get that. Was her answer wrong? No, it was definitely not. Why is the green better?
Because it's putting it in the order of the
What is the thing called?
degree.
The exponent, so the degree. So we've got to go from highest to largest. The 2 was bigger than the 1. Remember, there's an understood 1, so we're going to put it in that order. Are you going to get counted off in life with me if you don't put it in that order? No. Probably not. Do you want to just go ahead and be in that good habit because that's how a math teacher would expect it in college, or that's how the ACT is, or whatever? Yes, it's a good idea. Now, 2 minus 3, and she got negative 1. Why don't we put... Why do we not write the 1?
Because it's understood.
It's understood to be there, and when you write it, no offense, you look like you don't know what you're doing, and I swear you do. So I'm not gonna laugh at you or anything. I just want to remind you of that because it's been a while. Okay, number 4. It's another hard one because of that negative sign. Any volunteers on 4? Yes, dear.
Negative 3x squared.
Negative 3x squared
Minus 8x.
One of her terms is correct. One of her terms is incorrect. Okay, someone want to help me correct it? Yes, dear. So I'm going to, I'm running in pen. Haha. Negative x squared minus 8x. Okay, so let's talk about y. So we can say 1 minus 2 is negative 1. And then negative 3 minus 5 is negative 8. What's really impressive is to me she got the harder term because I always mess up on the second one. Again, if you're like me, which I know some of you are, I have to distribute that negative sign. I would actually on my paper have x squared minus 3x minus 2x squared minus 5x. Then I would combine my like terms and say x minus 2, that's negative 1, x squared, negative 3, negative 5, that's negative 8x. Now, maybe you're a genius and you don't have to do the pink, but if you're consistently making a mistake with the negative problems, this is one way to fix it. Okay, are there any questions on the math workshop? Trick question. Is it a good idea to work through the math workshops in advance? Yeah, the sooner you get this junk done, the sooner we can go over it, the sooner we can move on to bigger and brighter things. Okay, so you already know what's coming up next week. Clearly we plan on handling the others. So if you wanted to go ahead and handle them, you could. Now, do you have to do it for homework? No, my gosh, we already discussed. If you own your game, we're not supposed to have homework in this class. But if for some reason Hunter gets bored today during class, he doesn't have enough math to do, can he go actually handle this? Of course. That would be genius of him. Okay. On that blank piece of paper, write your name, because, bless your heart, I'm not going to claim your paper for you. And put ACT or something at the top. It would be nice if you could keep up with this, because we're going to work this thing practice test for a while. I'm sure you've done ACT prep in your other math classes, but it's like chocolate. There's just no such thing as too much chocolate in my mind. At least I've not reached that point. And in the same way, there's no such thing as too much prep for a test, especially a standardized test. Because even if your plan is just, heck, you're going to drop out at Christmas, I assume you're going to go for your GRE, and there'll be some standardized tests involved. Or, hey, you're a genius, you already got the score you wanted on the ACT, but you're still at college, it's still going to make you take an intro test for them. Because some colleges, they want you to take that math intro test. So it just can't hurt to be ready for a standardized test. Okay, so here's my fix. I don't know about you, ACT always freaks me out. Makes me nervous, don't like time things. If I could spend, I don't mind the 60 questions part. It's the 60 minutes that gets me. Only 60 minutes, and you want me to do that many things? I'm not that good. What's going to happen, all my bad words are going to come screaming out of my head about 50 minutes in, because I'm going to be on question 40, which means I have 20 questions left in only 10 minutes, and oh, Jesus, please come get me now. Just come back, come save me, because I just can't. And I just don't want that to be you. So our goal is to have a strategy so that doesn't happen to you. Because if you think that didn't happen to me and you're like sitting in the test room like, please don't cry, then I guess you didn't take the ACT seriously enough if you didn't have that I don't need to cry moment. At least girls, I know for sure. Sorry boys, maybe you don't cry. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. Okay, so here's the strategy. This is what I've learned. Now, it's not always true. And it's not always true. If you need help with another strategy for another section, I'll tell you, I did well on the science one, and I'm not a science person. So there are strategies to figure this bad boy out and do well on the ACT for no reason. The strategy with the math is that, yes, there are 60 questions, but the first 30 are the easiest. The first 30 are the easiest. Now, I'm not saying number 11 is not going to get on your nerves, but I'm saying number 42 is going to get on your nerves more. It's going to be harder. So if the first 30 are the easiest, what does that mean?
The hardest or last.
The hardest are last. So what does that mean time management-wise?
Try to do those first.
We got to try to do those first ones as quickly as possible. We need to get through those as quickly as possible. So in my mind, you're like 60 questions, 60 minutes. Okay, that means a minute a question. Well, but I need to spend 2 minutes on 42 because it's a doozy. So if you're needing to spend extra time on an extra hard question, you're going to have to get that time from the beginning. So that's what we're going to try to work on, how to time yourself and let go of a question and move on to the next one. And also, no offense, you don't remember it all, how to guess well when you don't remember. Okay, so I'm going to be nice today, and I will do a better job, especially for my people in the back. I'm going to post this on Google Classroom in case Kaylee wants to print it out herself. That way Kaylee can bring it in and not have to look up here at the screen. I totally get that. I love you dearly. It's like 10 pages. I'm not making a copy for everyone. I'm going to give you a full minute to answer this one. In real life, you should get about 30 seconds. Don't worry. We'll get ourselves timed back down after you get a little practice. Okay. On your mark, get that. Okay. Okay, you got about 10 seconds left. I'd go ahead and just write me a letter. Make it a good one. Okay, your time is up. I want you to talk to your group, see what answer you got. Pray they're on the same page as you. Okay, table 1, what letter are y'all thinking? C. Table 2?
C.
Table 3? C. Table 4?
C.
Table 5? And table 6 is like what everyone else is saying C. So we're sticking saying C. Does anyone want to be rebellious and say a different letter? D.
G.
Yeah. Okay, first of all, I'm going to need you to guess the letter that's actually up here. We're about making some hard choices. Okay, and then, since you guessed that one, I'm not going to phrase it the way I was going to. I was going to say there are some dumb answers up here, but instead I'm going to say there are some answers up here that we can automatically eliminate because they're a little bit silly. They're a little bit silly. A is the first one that's out. No offense, but Louise has a better percentage than 0%. Okay, E is another one that's out. Why is E out?
That's out of line, so you can't choose any of the leaders.
Okay, so he is not an officer. I mean, it says it in bold, not an officer. And then it says there are 5 officers. So you see why it would be silly to choose E. And then, oddly enough, there is one more up here that is strange to choose, and you shouldn't, and it's D, and why is that?
The only one with 6 isn't even involved.
Yes, 6 isn't involved. What they did is they did the 5 officers plus him and made 6. I get how they got it. What's wrong with it? Louise is not 6 people. Okay, and then forget Louise, forget the officer, forget the problem. Just look at that answer choice. What is wrong with it? It can simplify. You can divide it, the numerator and that denominator, by 2. They're not going to have a non-simplest form as the answer. They're not. They shouldn't. If they do, you need to come show me, because it's a strange thing that's happened. So I knew it wasn't D because that fraction wasn't in simplest form. So again, I know this is bad that I'm teaching you how to guess, but I'm guessing B or C. I am. And so I know it's bad that I'm guessing, but hey, at least I'm having a smart 50-50 chance. Before, it was a 1 in 5, so I was only at, what, 20%? I like the 50 odds better than the 20% odds. Much better. Okay, and then some people said the answer, well, actually everyone agreed with the answer. It is C. Where are you? There you are, 1 out of 27. You were supposed to say 32 minus those 5 officers, because he's not an officer. That means there are 27 members otherwise, so he is 1 out of those 27. Now, I'm going to tell you something sad. Sad but true. And you can quote me on it, but please don't get me in trouble with, don't let me hurt nobody's feelings, because I'm not trying to hurt nobody's feelings. Math teachers get in a hurry, and sometimes we have to skip things. We do. We have to skip things. And when we skip things, we skip probability and statistics. Now, you're in discrete, and I'm telling you we do random stuff in here, so we're going to spend a lot of time on probability and statistics. But can I promise you it's before your next ACT date? No. But can I tell you most ACT questions on probability and statistics you can figure out even if you don't really know what you're doing? Yeah. So we're going to spend a lot of time on probability and statistics one, just because your teacher was in a hurry and she probably skipped it. So if you're wanting more practice on that kind, because you were like, I still don't know what the crap you're doing, then you need to see me because we can find some more. Okay, we're going to do number 2 and number 3, and you're from your favorite. What was your favorite math class? That's what I thought you were going to say. I knew you were going to say geometry. Well, I like algebra, but I knew most people were going to say geometry. So let's see those geometry skills now. Here is number 2. You're going to, again, have a minute. If you think you can guess your way into it, you are wrong. On your mark, get set, go. I hear most people are already putting their pencils down. That's good. You either know it or you don't. That's the truth on this one. You got 10 seconds left, so you might as well make that last choice. Okay, go ahead. Talk to your group. See what letter they put. Maybe you all have the same letter. We'll see. Okay, group 5. What was your letter? What letters do y'all think?
K.
Just, no one else has anything else? Just K? Table 6? K? Are you sure? No one else has anything else? Table 2?
K.
Somebody else got something other than K?
K.
You? Oh, please, something other than K. K? Yes. J. Okay, so let's talk this through. Why is this one harder than the last one? Why are geometry questions like you thought they were your friend, but they're really not? Why?
It doesn't show you the triangles or anything.
Well, you want it doesn't show the that's true, but I heard it in the back. It's not like you can eliminate some of these. It's not like there are some really obvious, like the 0 on the last one. There's nothing you can be like, not that one. Or at least I think. Now, if you are really desperate and life is just that hard on this question, and you really want me to tell you which one I might eliminate, I don't know. I saw a pattern with the F's, and in my mind, there was a pattern with the C's, But heck, one could argue there's a pattern with the A, so I don't know. I don't see how you eliminate one on this one. However, and what concerns me is the lack of stuff you do on your paper, because mostly, like, I just see, like, 1C, 2K. Like, is that how it goes when you take the real ACT?
No, we don't write that.
Okay. I don't know why you think they gave you extra pencils. Because if you were only going to just bubble in the whole time, you'd only need the 1. The reason you need pencils with an S is because you're supposed to be, I don't know, doing math work on your paper, because that's how you did it in math class. Here's a thought. So on my paper, this is what I did. So, okay, so this was a congruent statement you learned in geometry, and the most important thing from that was that the order of the letters mattered. So, like, letter A has to go with letter D. Letter B has to go with letter E. And then C has to go with F. Maybe you're genius enough to remember that, so that's why you said C and F go together, and that's why angle C is congruent to angle F. Good for you, you genius. I'm not that person. I am the person who, if it says something about a triangle, well, I can draw a quick, ugly triangle. And then it said A, B, C, D, E, F. I drew it. And you can actually go through each answer choice pretty quickly. The first one said AB is congruent to DF. Well, with my coloring skills, no. That doesn't make sense. That's the left and the bottom. That's not going to work. And as you go through each answer choice, you'll be like, no, no, no. And the only one that will work is angle C is congruent to angle F. Do what, dear? I'm going to get it right. Like, if we're going to do it, I'm going to get it right. Now, if you understood the congruent statement, should you have guessed angle C is congruent to angle F? Yes, but I was afraid of it was going to be like an AB congruent to DE, or the worst would be AC congruent to DF. God, that would be bad. So I just, I draw a picture. Okay, it's so time consuming. Let's see how you can do number 3 as quickly. Number 3 is, sadly enough, another geometry question. Yes, Taylor? The answer for number 2 was K. Which is D in regular world. You know how they do ABCD and then FGHK? They're weird. And now we're going to be back on ABCD. Why they keep swapping back and forth, I don't know. Why they hate the letter I don't know. Like, if you're going to hate on I, why didn't you just do LMNOP? I don't know. You'll have to ask them why they do the things they do. Can't account for them. Okay, number 3, again, I'm going to give you a minute. But honestly, I'm going to need you to remember a little geometry, or you got to be a really good guesser. One or the other. You may go. Okay, if I were you, I'd be making that last guess. You got about 10 seconds. And we're going to call it. Now, let's talk about the answer choices before we get to how you're supposed to solve this bad boy. There is an answer choice I can eliminate just by looking at the answer choices. What answer choice needs to go? Now, there are a lot that I think need to go based on the problem. If you weren't even looking at the problem, you didn't even read it, you just read the answer choices, which answer choice would need to go? E. Why does E need to go? It is awfully high, but, 65 is pretty high too. Why else is E the one that I'm marking out? Look at the other ones. What's going on?
There's 5s in them.
They're all 5s. 1 5, 2 5, 3 5, 6 5. Now, if it had been 8 5, then I would be a little confused on which one to get rid of. But because it wasn't a 5 and all the others were 5s, I immediately said E is out. Yes. Now, if for some reason you go blank, like I know Jake learned this in geometry because I had him in geometry, but that was 2 years ago. So I might let it go if he doesn't know how to do it. However, he does remember like Goldilocks from the Three Bear Logic. Don't know if that makes any sense to you, but like you don't want something too big, you don't want something too small, you want something just right. That's how Goldilocks was, right? It had to be just right in the middle. So I would say 65 is too big, 15 is too small. So if I'm really guessing, to begin with, I'm guessing 25 or 35. Now, is my Goldilocks logic going to work every single time? No. But by God, it's better than your Christmas tree logic, let me tell you. Taylor.
I just did 100 minus 65. Yeah, 35.
Do you remember why you do that? I will find some change in my wallet if you know why we do that.
Alright, let me think. Because, well, wait, let me see this here. I was thinking because, like, you know how sometimes to find the other answer, you'll have, like, a total combined of, like, 180 degrees. And then
I understand, but it's called a theorem, and I'm going to need it.
Pythagorean theorem or something?
Oh, Jesus. This is Pythagorean theorems with side links. Pythagorean theorems with side links. Come on, man. Whatever. You're like, God, it's been so long since geometry. I don't know. I will not tell you, and then you'll Google it, and then I'll have to be off some change. No. Are you ready for me to tell you a theorem that you don't remember? And you're like, why do you remember? Because I taught geometry a lot.
I probably remember what that said.
So this angle is on the outside, and we would call that the exterior, and we called it the exterior angle theorem, and it was that the exterior angle was equal to the sum of the two remote interior angles. So the two angles furthest away from it do add up to 100. So he is right. 65 plus 35 is 100, and the answer is 35, which is letter choice C. He is correct. Now, do I genuinely, this is the fourth, fifth time I've done this today? He is the first person who actually knew how to use that theorem all day long, and yet still everyone else is able to get the answer. So we'll discuss how, yes, you had something to say though first.
Is there an internal theorem too? Internal something?
Well, we know that the interior angles, you know what number they add up to because it's a triangle. I'm going to use that in a second. Okay, so let's face it. He's a genius. He did what I did in blue. Normal person's not going to come up with that. However, I know Kaylee learned in geometry what a linear pair was. So I know what number to put at the top of that triangle. What number should I put at the top? Okay, 80, because 100 plus 80 is 180. And now thinking back over those answer choices, we said 80 was a silly answer choice, but you see why some people are going to pick it from right there. Even though all the others were 5s, they got 80 because 180, 180. And that's what they went with. Now, remind me, what do triangles add up to?
180.
There's no, you're like, I know that one number. 180. So 80 and 65 is 145. 180 minus 145 is 35. So even though we're not thinking genius like Taylor, can we still use geometry and figure out the answer? Heck yes. It is 35. And then I wrote what I wrote in pink to show you. But in real life, should I do what I did in pink?
No. I mean, if you don't know how to figure it out.
Let me rephrase it. Should I use my pencil to do what I did in pink?
No.
What should I use? My calculator in my head. Either you're really good at math and do it in your head, which is not me, or that's why you have that thing in your hand the whole time. You need to use it to be faster because, again, I know this is silly, but Taylor needs to be as fast as possible in this problem. If he doesn't come up with that theorem, he needs to type 80 plus 65 and subtract from 180. He needs to do that quickly. So I wrote that so you know what on earth I'm talking about. But in real life, don't write your things down. Okay. Now that your mind is blown, are there any questions about those 3 ACT problems?
Ms. Compton?
Yes, ma'am.
Can we please have Kaylee James to check out?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
And so it begins. And so it begins. Okay, we'll actually swap to the discrete part of the day for now. Again, I think we'll just keep doing ACT prep until December, at which point I'm going to assume you no longer need your ACT prep, and we'll go to how to prep for real life. Yes, dear. Yes, dear. Do you love how he waited for me to be in between things? That was good. He's almost redeeming himself for standing up earlier. He's almost. Yes, dear. Yes, dear. Okay. We're going to do this now. You're going to think that we're in elementary school? Yes, dear? Yeah. You're going to think we're in... Oh, my goodness. Who else didn't remember to pick up the stuff off the podium?
I did.
Oh, my goodness. You're going to get it together one day. Okay, so we're going to say that you finally went home and your mom said, what is discrete again? And you were like, something about computer science. I'm hoping based off what we discussed yesterday with our PowerPoint before we did our group ABC thing, that if your mom had asked you, what are you learning about in discrete, you would say something about computer science and something about it's the opposite of calculus. Maybe that's what you got. I don't know. Today we're going to spend more time on that word because, let's face it, one, you don't know what it means, and then two, you know you hurt my feelings yesterday because we did that ABC thing, and how many people with the letter D put denominator, difference, like so many other D's besides discrete, the math class you are now currently in. What is this? Okay, so yesterday we talked about like types of discrete problems. Today we're going to talk about the difference between something that is discrete and something that is continuous. So you're going to love me because I'm like a kid at heart. So take your piece of paper and we're going to fold it hamburger style. Now, if Hunter doesn't like my cute little foldy self, that way you could open it up if you wanted. If Hunter doesn't like my cute little foldy self, when we get done today, if he wants to hole punch it and put it in his binder like old school, I get it. But I'm trying, people. And that way it looks like a book. So it says discrete and continuous, and then you flip it open, and then we do some problems inside. I know, we're so cute. Okay, now that you've got your paper folded, because by golly, if you can't fold the paper in half, I'm not even sure we can be together anymore. Let's talk about discrete functions and continuous functions and what they're going to look like. And you're going to impress me, I know. Okay. You can be colorful like me if you want, or you can be plain Jane pencil. It's not going to hurt my feelings. On both of these graphs, I'm going to start off the same way. They kind of look like a line. I just did a bunch of dots. Okay, so far they're looking similar. They both have points on a graph. So there are discrete functions and continuous functions. All you've dealt with in Algebra 1 and Algebra 2 with trig, for the most part. There are some exceptions like step functions, but you forgot what that was anyway. I know. All you've dealt with so far is continuous, because normally, once you put those dots, what do you normally get to do? You normally get to connect those dots, like we're doing like a connect the dot puzzle. So on the continuous graph, you can go ahead and connect the dots. So a continuous function has a graph that is connected. I don't want to be ugly and say that a discrete graph has a graph that consists of disconnected. That doesn't sound very nice. So how could I describe that discrete graph on the left? It is made of what? So I'm going to say distinct points. Because clearly this point is different from this point is different from this point. They are distinct. If I say go one to the right, you would know I meant the pink one. If I say go 3 to the right, you would know I meant the green one. Okay, any questions so far? Then open your cute little book. Go inside. Okay, so at the top it talks about how to graph a discrete function or how to graph a continuous function. And then for both examples, they give us the equation of y equals 2x minus 1. Okay, you lived through algebra 2 with trig. You lived through algebra. How do you graph that line? You go down to -1, and then what do you do? Okay, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. And I'm actually going to do it on both graphs. I'm going to go down 2, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. And I'm actually not going to go down here any, because if you read the directions, which clearly I did, I already know what the directions say. I'm reading for you, I guess. It said specifically it wanted, I guess I should go one more now, because it said -1. It wants the -1, down 2 over 1. I lied. Because it said it wanted to know at -1, at 0, at 1, at 2, at 3. And I only knew to do that because it told me to in the directions. Could I have just started? I don't know. You could have done it anyway. You know how to graph a line. Okay, but the difference between the discrete graph and the continuous graph is that I'm not going to, yes, dear?
Isn't it supposed to be just down like 1? Yeah.
And I went down 2? That sounds like me. You know what the best part is when you're the copier? Never happened. What are you talking about? And then my second smart remark would be, that's why you don't need to do math in pen. Oh. I know. I was supposed to write in pencil, but then if I write in pencil, you can't see what I'm doing. So, you know, catch 22. Okay, and then on this one it says, so I swear I can read sometimes. It said it wanted to know, on the discrete graph particularly, it said graph a function with a domain -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. So that's why I hit it at -1, at 0, at 1, at 2, at 3. It says, then identify the range. Am I supposed to connect the dots at this point? It is a discrete graph.
No.
No, I'm not going to connect those dots. What was domain and what was range?
Domain is your x, y.
So domain was the x values,
Now you get the Y value.
and the range would be the y values.
You gotta make it.
So, you know, if you want to go old school, because my God, it's been a long summer, you can. We can actually plug it in a table or our calculator or whatever it was your teacher taught you, where we can say it was supposed to be 2x minus 1. Well, everywhere I see an x, I'm going to replace it with that variable. You can actually do all this and then actually evaluate to get the y's. You can. But do you actually have to make this table? Didn't you eventually learn how to just read a graph and know that your y values would be, this one is at -1, -2, -3? Yes, dear.
On the thing, why did you do 3 prints?
I shouldn't have. I mean, I'm telling you, you would get yourself some points. I should have done 2 parentheses 3.
Yeah.
That's what I should have done. But order of operations, does it matter if I do 2 times 3 or 3 times 2? In my head. Okay, so you can actually do the table if you want to, but at some point in life you learned how to read a graph, so you know that this is actually -1, -3. So that's why I put -3. This is 0, -1, so that's why I'm going to put -1. This is 1, 1. And that's when you leave me and we come back to this Monday. Yay! Bye! We just had too much fun with that ACT prep, let me tell you.
Gotta put the plug in. I got the plug.
Here's my name. You might pick out some others, so you can say.
Did you hear it coming down the alleyway?
It is.
It is.
Six, oh.
Do you get to leave after 6, Taylor? Is that why you're so excited?
Going home. Yeah, I can skip after that.
Why do I not believe you?
You don't believe me?
I mean, I do believe. I don't have a reason not to believe you. Yes. Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
Have a good weekend, Miss Compton.
You too, Taylor. Bye, Hunter.
See ya.
In the content.
Hello, dear. How are you?